Ladies, I need you to listen to me for a second. There are some things we need to make sure we don't do when it comes to our relationships with men. It's not about control, it's about being intentional with the way we love ourselves and the way we give love to others. Too often we find ourselves compromising who we are, settling for things that don't align with our worth, or giving away pieces of our identity that we'll never get back. But today, I want to tell you, don't fall for that. One of the most common mistakes women make in relationships is believing that their role is to fix or change their partner. From the outside, it may seem like an act of love, a desire to help him grow, evolve, or overcome his struggles. But deep down, it creates an unhealthy dynamic that can leave both people feeling frustrated, misunderstood, and even resentful. When we enter into a relationship with the mindset that we need to fix him, we unknowingly set ourselves up for failure. First of all, it places an unrealistic burden on you as the woman. You may begin to feel responsible for his flaws, for his emotions, or for the gaps in his life. But the truth is, no one can truly fix another person. Change and personal growth are deeply personal and must come from within the individual, not from external pressure or expectations. Trying to fix him often stems from a sense of inadequacy or a desire to make him into the partner you envision in your mind. It's like thinking that if you just do things a little differently, if you love him more, or if you give him more time, he'll magically become the version of himself that you're hoping for. This idea is rooted in the belief that you're not enough as you are, and that love alone will somehow fix his issues. The problem is that this is an unfair and unrealistic expectation. Each person is responsible for their own growth, healing, and self-awareness. If a man is struggling with his own issues, whether it's emotional baggage, past trauma, or personal challenges, he must take the initiative to address them. No one else can do that work for him. You cannot heal his wounds or fix his broken pieces. He has to do that on his own terms, at his own pace, with the right tools, resources, and desire for change. When a woman tries to fix her partner, it also sends a subtle message that she doesn't fully accept him for who he is in the present moment. Instead of appreciating him for who he is and where he stands, it places emphasis on what he should be, what he's missing, or what he needs to improve. This mindset, even if unconsciously held, can lead to feelings of rejection or resentment in the relationship. The man may feel like he's not enough, that he is being judged or constantly criticized, even if the intent behind the actions is helpful or supportive. Moreover, trying to fix him can also distort the nature of your connection. Rather than building a partnership based on mutual respect, love, and growth, it becomes more of a caregiver-patient dynamic, where one person is always in need of fixing while the other becomes the fixer. This creates a power imbalance that can drain both parties. The person trying to fix may feel exhausted, overwhelmed, and even unappreciated, while the person being fixed may feel powerless, suffocated, or incapable of measuring up to the ideal version that's being imposed upon them. True love doesn't come with a repair manual. It comes with patience, understanding, and the willingness to accept one another, flaws and all. The best thing you can do for your partner is to support him in his journey of self-improvement, but never to take on the role of his fixer. Respect his autonomy. Allow him the space to grow on his own. And remember that true growth happens when someone is ready to change for themselves, not because someone else expects them to. In relationships, it can often feel like you need to adjust or bend your beliefs and values in order to fit the expectations or desires of your partner. This pressure can come from all sides, society, family, or even the subtle influence of the person you care about. However, compromising your values is one of the most damaging things you can do, both for yourself and for the relationship. Your values are the foundation of who you are. They are what guide your decisions, shape your actions, and define your sense of purpose. They stem from your life experiences, your beliefs, your culture, and your sense of morality. When you begin to compromise those values for someone else, you not only lose touch with your authentic self, but you also risk building a relationship on shaky ground. The temptation to compromise your values may feel strong, especially if you care deeply about someone. It's easy to think that in order to make the relationship work, you need to adjust your beliefs or bend your boundaries. Maybe he wants to do something that doesn't align with your values, and you convince yourself that it's not a big deal. Maybe you think, I'll go along with it this time, just to keep the peace, or it's not that important, I can overlook it for him. But in doing so, you begin to lose sight of what truly matters to you. When you start compromising on the things that define you, you start undermining the integrity of the relationship itself. A relationship that's based on compromise of values is not built on mutual respect. Instead, it becomes a house of cards that's fragile and unstable. What happens when the next compromise comes along? What happens when one compromise turns into another? And before you know it, you're so far from who you truly are that you don't even recognize yourself anymore. Values aren't small, superficial preferences. They are deeply rooted beliefs that guide the way you live your life. If you compromise your values, you're essentially telling yourself that what you believe in isn't worthy of respect, or that the person you're with is more important than the principles that shape your identity. The truth is, when you compromise on what truly matters to you, you are sending a message that you don't value yourself enough to stand firm in your own truth. This is particularly dangerous when it comes to major aspects of a relationship, such as trust, loyalty, communication, and honesty. For example, if you value honesty but find yourself overlooking small lies or choosing to stay quiet when things aren't right, you're allowing the relationship to be built on a foundation of dishonesty. Similarly, if you value respect and integrity but tolerate behaviors that disrespect you, you're slowly eroding the respect that should be inherent in the relationship. Moreover, compromising your values can lead to long-term resentment. You might tell yourself you're making a sacrifice for the relationship, but in reality, you're giving up a piece of yourself. Over time, these sacrifices accumulate, and you may begin to feel disconnected from your partner or even from your own identity. This breeds frustration, anger, and a sense of disillusionment, which can be detrimental to both you and the relationship. It's crucial to remember that a healthy relationship doesn't require you to abandon who you are in order to be loved. On the contrary, love thrives in an environment where both individuals honor and respect each other's values. The right partner will celebrate your values and encourage you to remain true to them, not ask you to diminish them. The right partner will see you for who you truly are and love you even more for your integrity, your beliefs, and the strength you show in staying true to them. So, while relationships require compromise and growth in many areas, never let it come at the cost of your core values. Your values are what make you unique, and they are what will sustain you in a relationship that is built on mutual respect and authenticity. In a world that constantly pushes for conformity and connection, it's easy to lose sight of who you are within a relationship. Especially when love and affection come into play, it can be tempting to blend into dynamics so seamlessly that you forget where your individuality ends and a relationship begins. But losing your identity for the sake of a relationship is one of the most dangerous things you can do for yourself and your happiness. The desire for unity and closeness in a relationship is natural. You want to share everything with your partner, from your dreams to your fears, from your favorite hobbies to your future plans. However, the key to a healthy relationship lies in the balance of maintaining your individuality while growing together. When you lose yourself in the process, you start to sacrifice the very essence of who you are. And that's where the trouble begins. Your identity is the core of your being. It encompasses your values, passions, aspirations, and the unique qualities that make you. It's what sets you apart in a crowd and gives you a sense of purpose. When you start molding yourself entirely to fit someone else's expectations or desires, you begin to blur the lines between who you are and who you think they want you to be. This doesn't just impact your sense of self, it impacts the foundation of the relationship itself. One of the most common ways women lose their identity in relationships is by putting their partner's needs and desires above their own. It might start with small compromises, like adjusting your schedule or changing your plans to accommodate his. Maybe you put your hobbies on the back burner because he's not as interested in them. Over time, these small changes accumulate. And before you know it, the things that once brought you joy and fulfillment are no longer a part of your life. You're so busy trying to please him or meet his expectations that you forget what it feels like to do things just for you. Another way women lose their identity is by becoming overly dependent on their partner for emotional fulfillment. While it's natural to want emotional support and connection, relying solely on your partner for validation or self-worth can be a dangerous trap. Your value should not be tied to someone else's approval, nor should your happiness hinge on their actions or emotions. When you lose your sense of self in this way, you not only risk becoming emotionally drained, but also allow your partner to have disproportionate control over your emotions. This creates an unhealthy dynamic where your emotional well-being is no longer in your hands. At the same time, you may start to prioritize your partner's goals and aspirations over your own. It's easy to get caught up in supporting your partner's ambitions. But if you sacrifice your own dreams in the process, you may find yourself resentful and disconnected. No relationship is truly equal if one person consistently puts their needs and aspirations aside for the other. A healthy partnership is one where both individuals are encouraged to pursue their personal goals, all while supporting each other's journeys. Ultimately, when you lose your identity in a relationship, you not only risk personal dissatisfaction, but you also risk the integrity of the relationship itself. If you're not true to who you are, how can you fully give yourself to the partnership in an authentic way? If you stop being the person you were before the relationship, then your partner is loving a version of you that doesn't exist, an image rather than the real person. This lack of authenticity can lead to feelings of disconnection and dissatisfaction in both parties. Relationships should be a space for both individuals to grow, evolve, and encourage one another to become the best versions of themselves, not to lose themselves in the process. While relationships demand compromise, they should never ask you to sacrifice your essence, your individuality, or your personal journey. The right partner will love you for who you are, not for the version of you they hope to create. In any relationship, setting boundaries is an essential part of maintaining your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Yet, for many women, establishing clear boundaries feels uncomfortable, intimidating, or even unnecessary. We may fear that setting limits will make us appear too demanding, selfish, or unloving. But the reality is that boundaries are not just a sign of self-respect. They are the foundation for healthy relationships that allow both individuals to thrive, not just survive. Boundaries are the invisible lines that protect your energy, time, and personal space. They define what is acceptable and what is not in how others treat you. And they are crucial for maintaining a sense of self in any relationship. Without boundaries, relationships can become unbalanced, with one person constantly giving while the other takes. This imbalance can lead to resentment, burnout, and emotional distress, making it difficult to sustain a healthy partnership. Setting boundaries doesn't mean building walls or pushing people away. It means knowing your limits and communicating them clearly. For instance, you may need to set emotional boundaries, ensuring that your partner respects your feelings and doesn't manipulate or pressure you. It could also involve setting physical boundaries, such as needing time alone to recharge or having space for your own personal activities. It might even mean setting mental boundaries by protecting your thoughts, your decision-making process, and your need for autonomy. One of the most important aspects of setting boundaries is being clear and firm in your communication. Often, women fear that expressing their needs will cause conflict or lead to rejection. However, a lack of communication about your boundaries only leads to confusion and misunderstandings. When you don't express what you're comfortable with, you're leaving your needs unmet, and the relationship will inevitably suffer. It's not about being harsh or inflexible. It's about being direct and honest. Let your partner know what works for you and what doesn't, and expect that they will respect those boundaries just as you would respect theirs. Boundaries also mean protecting your emotional energy. In any relationship, there will be times when your partner may push your limits or behave in ways that are hurtful or disrespectful. When this happens, it's crucial to speak up and establish boundaries around how you will be treated. tolerating disrespect, verbal abuse, or emotional manipulation is not a sign of love, it's a sign of neglecting your own worth. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, where both people are held accountable for their actions. If you allow your partner to treat you in ways that violate your boundaries, you are essentially telling them that your feelings and needs don't matter. Another important aspect of setting boundaries is knowing that it's okay to say no. Saying no is not an act of rejection. It's an act of self-preservation. If you're constantly saying yes to things that drain your energy, violate your values, or make you uncomfortable, you'll eventually feel overwhelmed and resentful. Saying no when necessary is an act of strength. It's a way of protecting your peace and maintaining your sense of self. Remember, you don't have to explain yourself, apologize, or justify your boundaries to anyone. Your needs are valid, and your worth isn't tied to how much you can give to others at the expense of your own well-being. Finally, it's important to remember that boundaries aren't just for your partner, they're for you too. You have to be willing to honor your own boundaries, even when it's difficult. It's easy to fall into the trap of putting others first, especially in a relationship where you want to show love and care. But if you neglect your own needs in the process, you're not only compromising your well-being, but also the long-term health of the relationship itself. Boundaries allow both individuals in a relationship to grow, evolve, and maintain their individual identities, while still fostering a deep, meaningful connection. Manipulation in relationships can be subtle, often disguised as affection or care, making it difficult to recognize at first. But accepting manipulation, whether it's emotional, psychological, or behavioral, can have a profound impact on your well-being. Over time, it erodes trust, self-esteem, and the integrity of the relationship itself. Recognizing and rejecting manipulation is not just an act of self-preservation. It's a necessary step in maintaining a healthy, respectful partnership. Manipulation is a form of control. It's when someone uses deceit, guilt, or other underhanded tactics to influence your decisions, feelings, or actions for their own benefit. It's about steering the relationship in a direction that serves their agenda, not yours. This could range from emotional blackmail, where someone tries to make you feel guilty for setting boundaries or making decisions they don't agree with, to more subtle tactics like gaslighting, where your perception of reality is distorted to make you question your own judgment. One of the most common forms of manipulation is guilt tripping. Manipulators often know how to exploit your sense of empathy or care by making you feel responsible for their emotions or actions. They might say things like, if you really love me, you do this, or I'm doing this for you, and this is how you repay me. This creates an unhealthy power dynamic in the relationship, where you begin to feel obligated to meet their demands, even at the cost of your own comfort or well-being. Over time, this manipulative behavior can wear you down, making you feel constantly on edge of yourself. Another manipulative tactic is gaslighting, a particularly insidious form of emotional manipulation where someone tries to make you doubt your own reality. They might deny things they said or did, twisting the truth to make you feel confused, guilty, or crazy. For instance, if you call them out on a hurtful comment, they might respond by saying, I never said that, or you're just being too sensitive. This makes you second-guess your perceptions and eventually causes you to lose confidence in your own judgment, leaving you more vulnerable to their influence. Manipulators may also engage in silent treatment or withdrawal of affection as a means of control. Instead of communicating openly about issues, they might use the absence of love or attention as a way to punish you into compliance. This tactic is designed to make you feel abandoned or insecure, pressuring you into doing whatever they want in order to regain their approval or affection. The fear of losing the relationship or their affection can lead you to compromise your own needs or desires just to keep the peace. It's important to recognize that manipulation is never about love. True love is based on trust, respect, and mutual understanding. Manipulation, on the other hand, thrives in secrecy, deceit, and control. If your partner frequently makes you feel guilty, confused, or responsible for their emotions or actions, this is a sign of manipulation. And it's crucial not to ignore it. Part of rejecting manipulation is setting firm boundaries and asserting your needs without fear of retaliation. It's okay to say no or to stand firm in your beliefs, even when someone tries to pressure or guilt you into changing. Healthy relationships are built on open, honest communication, where both parties feel heard and respected. Manipulation thrives on silence, avoidance, and unspoken expectations. So being clear about your feelings and standing your ground is a powerful defense against it. Another important aspect of rejecting manipulation is trusting your instincts. If something feels off in the relationship, if you're being coerced, guilted, or made to feel less than, it's vital to pay attention to those feelings. Your gut is an invaluable guide, helping you spot unhealthy dynamics before they take root. Manipulation can wear you down, causing you to feel anxious, insecure, or overly responsible for someone else's emotions. But when you stop accepting manipulative behavior, you begin to reclaim your autonomy, your peace, and your self-worth. It's not about being rigid or unwilling to compromise. It's about knowing that you deserve to be in a relationship where you are treated with respect, where your feelings and needs matter, and where you can thrive as your authentic self. In any relationship, one of the most powerful tools you have is your voice, the ability to express your thoughts, needs, desires, and feelings. Yet all too often, women silence themselves, whether out of fear, insecurity, or a desire to avoid conflict. Silencing your voice, however, is a form of self-neglect that can have lasting effects on both your emotional health and the health of your relationship. Speaking up is not just about making your needs known. It's about asserting your worth, maintaining your autonomy, and fostering a partnership based on mutual respect. When you silence your voice, you rob yourself of the opportunity to be heard, seen, and understood. Relationships are meant to be a two-way street where both individuals feel safe to express themselves, their concerns, and their dreams. Yet many women are taught to defer to others, particularly in intimate relationships, to avoid rocking the boat or causing tension. Whether it's fear of being judged, dismissed, or even rejected, these fears keep many women from speaking their truth. But when you do this, you deny both yourself and your partner the chance to truly connect on a deeper level. Silencing your voice can manifest in many ways, from ignoring your own feelings to accepting things in the relationship that don't sit well with you. Perhaps you feel uncomfortable with a particular behavior, but instead of voicing your discomfort, you bottle it up, telling yourself that it's not worth addressing. Or maybe you find yourself always agreeing with your partner to keep the peace, even when it means suppressing your own desires and preferences. Over time, these unspoken thoughts and unresolved issues build up, creating a sense of emotional disconnection or resentment. One of the most damaging consequences of silencing your voice is that it can lead to a loss of self-worth. When you continuously deny your own voice, you start to believe that your opinions and feelings don't matter as much as others. This can result in a lack of confidence, as you begin to question your own worth or ability to contribute meaningfully to the relationship. But the truth is, your voice matters, your perspective, your needs, and your emotions are just as valid as anyone else's. In a healthy relationship, both partners should feel valued, and that begins with giving each other the space to speak openly. Furthermore, when you silence your voice, you allow unhealthy patterns or behaviors to continue unchecked. Without honest communication, issues in the relationship can fester, leading to misunderstandings, resentment, or even emotional harm. A relationship can only thrive when both partners are willing to express their feelings, set boundaries, and address challenges together. If you continually suppress your voice, you're essentially allowing those issues to go unaddressed, which compromises the overall health of the relationship. Silencing your voice also means silencing your needs. You might convince yourself that your partner's needs are more important, or that your desires are too small or insignificant to bring up. However, every need you have is important. If you neglect your own needs for the sake of your partner, you're essentially telling yourself that your well-being isn't as valuable as theirs. This mindset sets a dangerous precedent. where you become accustomed to putting yourself last, even when it compromises your happiness or sense of self. Learning to find and use your voice in a relationship is empowering. It's about recognizing that your voice is not only necessary, it's vital. Speaking up for yourself allows you to be authentic, to protect your boundaries, and to ensure that your needs are being met. It's an act of self-respect that shows your partner that you are an equal in the relationship, deserving of love, care, and attention. When you speak your truth, you not only assert your own worth, but also invite your partner to engage in an open, honest dialogue. Communication is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship. The more you speak up, the more you create an environment where both of you can be vulnerable, real, and connected. Your voice is not just a tool for addressing conflict or asking for what you want. It is a way to share your heart, your dreams, and your truth. By using your voice, you allow the relationship to evolve in a way that respects both individuals and their unique perspectives. Too often, women are conditioned to stay silent, to please others, or to avoid conflict. But when you silence your voice, you silence your power. You deserve to be heard, and your voice deserves to be honored. Speak up, stand firm in your beliefs, and let your partner see you as the whole powerful and deserving individual you truly are. Too often, women find themselves settling in relationships, accepting less than they truly deserve in the name of love, companionship, or fear of being alone. It may seem easier to settle for someone who doesn't fully appreciate you, or to stay in a relationship that doesn't honor your worth, but in doing so, you compromise your happiness, self-respect, and future. You were never meant to settle for less than what you deserve, and recognizing your true worth is the first step in creating the life and the relationship you truly want. Settling often starts when you start believing that you don't deserve anything better than what you have. Maybe you've faced heartbreak in the past, or maybe you've spent so long compromising your own needs and desires that you don't know what true fulfillment looks like. You begin to convince yourself that you should be grateful for what you have, even if it doesn't meet your emotional, physical, or mental needs. But when you do this, you ignore the most important truth of all: you are worthy of love, respect, and a partnership that adds value to your life. One of the key signs that you might be settling is when you find yourself making constant excuses for your partner's behavior. Perhaps they don't show you the affection you need, or maybe they treat you in ways that aren't respectful or kind, yet you continue to make excuses, telling yourself that they'll change or that you don't deserve more. The reality is, if someone truly values you, they won't just give you the bare minimum. They will make you feel loved, cherished, and supported in all aspects of the relationship. Settling means accepting someone's inability to meet your emotional and physical needs, often in the hope that things will improve, when deep down, you know they won't unless both partners are willing to grow together. Another form of settling occurs when you lower your standards to match someone else's behavior or expectations. If your partner doesn't treat you with the respect you deserve, or if they don't share your values or vision for the future, you may begin to adapt your own beliefs to make the relationship work. This usually means giving up pieces of yourself, your dreams, your values, or your expectations for the sake of keeping the peace or avoiding conflict. However, true love doesn't require compromising who you are. It encourages you to remain authentic, to pursue your passions, and to continue growing as an individual. Settling for less means giving up on the person you were always meant to be in exchange for something less fulfilling. In relationships where you settle, you also often find yourself sacrificing your own happiness in exchange for maintaining the status quo. You may spend more energy trying to fix your partner or meet their needs, while your own needs go unmet. Eventually, this creates an unhealthy dynamic where one person's happiness is placed above the others, and resentment begins to build. Relationships thrive when both individuals feel equally valued and supported. If you are constantly putting your own desires and needs aside, you create an imbalance that can lead to dissatisfaction and frustration. Self-worth is the foundation for all healthy relationships. If you don't believe that you deserve respect, kindness, and true love, you may find yourself settling for relationships that don't meet your expectations or needs. The truth is, you are worthy of the love you give. You are deserving of a partnership where both people invest in each other's well-being, where respect, trust, and mutual growth are prioritized. When you recognize your worth and refuse to settle for less than you deserve, you open the door to relationships that are built on mutual respect and love. Don't allow fear and insecurities to dictate your decisions in love. The fear of being alone or the fear that you'll never find someone better can lead to settling for relationships that only bring you heartache. But the right relationship won't make you feel like you're settling. It will make you feel seen, heard, and valued. The relationship that honors your worth will challenge you to grow, will encourage your dreams, and will give you the space to be your truest, most authentic self. In relationships, it's crucial to never lose sight of your worth. Don't settle for less than you deserve, and never compromise your values, voice, or identity. Recognize manipulation and stand firm in setting healthy boundaries, because you deserve a partnership built on respect, trust, and mutual support. A healthy relationship nurtures both individuals, allowing them to thrive without sacrificing their true selves. By honoring your worth and embracing your voice, you create space for a love that uplifts and empowers. Always remember, you are deserving of the very best, and you should never accept anything less.